Hello, welcome to Fig Tree Christian. I'm Pastor Melissa, and I'm so glad that you are here today. Let me do this real quick because I do not. Much better. Not yet. Much better. I turned off my laptop microphone and turned on my very nice microphone. I have it. I should use it. Welcome to Fig Tree Christian. I'm Pastor Melissa. I'm glad you're here today. Let's repeat that. Today's message is peace. I did not bring my candle down here. I wanted to start a little bit earlier for you live folks, and I will have to do that upstairs on my own. So today I said I was going to talk about songs every day, and today is Silent Night. Little story before we get into the song itself. When I was in my early 20s, right before I would go into seminary and I would take actual church jobs that paid money, I volunteered my time all over the place, helping various churches find ways to show Christ's love in the world in new and different ways. I've always been somebody that has been focused on how to see God in less traditional avenues, often using technology to do it. Like, for example, this has been around for over a dozen years, and it was one of the first to do it. So I am really trying to find where God is outside the regular church. But back in my early 20s, I wanted to start something in a worship experience that explored new and innovative ways to find God. And I did that on Saturday nights, and we called it Fusion. And at first, it was very, very innovative. There was a day that we didn't have an actual worship. We did a prayer labyrinth instead. And there was a CD made, and you put in the CD and you listen and walk through the labyrinth and do the different activities in your own time. So it started at a specific time, but everyone didn't begin at that time. There was one day where we did a prayer bowl, and we put our prayers into the bowl, and it was a bowl of water. So it was like baptism. We explored different ways to do communion. We connected songs to imagery in ways that hadn't been done before. And then there was a group that joined. And I'm not going to say that they're a bad group of people. They just, it's really difficult to talk about innovation with the general public without people who understand and live in that world, because their brain is inside the box. And if you ask them, what is something we can do next week for this worship, their brain is going to give inside the box answers. They're going to give the general skeleton of a worship, and that is how it's going to go. And they're going to get comfortable in that skeleton. And it's going to end up being, we're going to build the worship around this traditional skeleton. So back in early 2000s, I was a strong voice in saying that traditional worship is not the difference between having a praise band and having an organ, or having guitars and having piano. It was everything. And at the beginning of Fusion, that is exactly what it was. It was an experiment. It was an exploration. It was not the traditional skeleton. Because whether you have a praise band or whether you have traditional music, it's still the same skeleton of worship. Now, there are people, and I have heard them throughout the years. I have talked to them, and they vehemently disagree that skeleton is necessary and absolutely important to worshiping God. And I vehemently disagree back that it is not. Now, the reason I'm bringing up Fusion and what it was in the beginning is that it all can be encapsulated into one event. There was a day when we were talking about Christmas and about Advent and about what we were going to do for Fusion that Saturday night. And I had suggested, and basically I was the lead on this back then, I wanted to do Silent Night, but I didn't want to do Silent Night with all the pomp and circumstances. I wanted to do it the way that it would have been done the first time. Because the first time happened after there was an extreme event that took out the organ at a church, and they did not have any way to play music for the congregation. And what ended up happening is someone had written the poem Stille Nacht, Silent Night, and someone else had put music to it on guitar. And so that Christmas Eve, they sang Silent Night with a single guitar. I wanted to recapture that everything got so loud. Everything is so loud in our world, not as much back then as it is now, that I just wanted the simplicity of the guitar and the voice. Well, what happened in that planning is it was, oh yes, let's do a guitar and let's sing. And then it was suggested after the first verse, let's add in drums and let's add in piano and let's add in more guitars. So we're going from that simplistic Silent Night to a full-blown band experience. And every single time that I have suggested the simple Silent Night, from that point on, it never ends up being the simple Silent Night. It always ends up being this big orchestrated mess. Now, it sounds great. It does. Like every single time, it's like, wow, that sounds really good. But it's not the meaning that I ever imagine for that song. It's always a big, bloated production. Fusion, at that point forward, became a praise band. It became, this is the skeleton we have. Let's fill in the blocks and let's do it. Any sort of planning meeting after that wasn't anything innovative or new. It had become a praise worship. I see that event as a moment where what God had called me to do was actually happening and becoming real. And the creative explosion of energy that I felt God was calling me to do in the general church was really and authentically happening. And I saw it taken away and replaced. And man, have I seen that over the years. That is like the recurring theme in my life, where I can actually see something physically happening that God is calling me to do, and then seeing that snatched away and replaced by something bloated and not really moving forward in where God is calling us as a church. Silent Night is an example when things go wrong. Simple and peaceful is the way to go. Today's word is peace. We would be lighting the second Advent candle, and it would be the candle of peace. And we would be coming to God, trying to understand what it is we need to let go of. Peace is about letting go. Peace is about understanding that the way it is right now cannot persist, and we need to let go of the things that will keep us from Christ. This is maybe, and I said this last year, maybe one of the most important weeks of Advent, because it's going to decide whether we're really headed towards that hope that we made last week. This world is so loud now. It's so loud that there are times I can't even hear my own ideas. It's so bloated that even when I am seen, there are people who think I'm trying to scam them. When, oh my word, I am probably the one person who doesn't know how to scam because I give away so much. And when I think I'm headed in a direction where something authentic and real can be witnessed and can be shared and we can move in a healthy direction, that's when the voices come out to say that I am false or fake or whatever word you want to put on it. I have struggled so much over the past just 5 years trying to figure out how to share an authentic voice in a crisp, clean way, and have failed every single time. And that is another thing, is that when I say that something fails, people think that I think I'm a failure. When I think I'm doing exactly what God has called me to do, I just can't get it past the cacophony of junk. I can't speak where it can pass through the trash. The trash has figured out a way to be heard when real, authentic words fall on deaf ears. Peace. Peace that can somehow break through in its silence. Peace that can teach us lessons amongst the lies. Peace. Peace that happens when everything breaks and the only word is a song sung so quietly and authentically that we must hear it. Peace. I hope you find your peace this week. I hope you find the thing that's going to get you to Christ. And even if you've accepted Christ as your Lord and Savior, there's still a journey that has to be taken. And I hope you find the map to that journey and you can begin to walk in peace. May God be with you this Advent season. Go in peace.